What's going on, you group of misfits? It's your boy, Big Juicy. Welcome back to Creep Street. If it's your first time with us, welcome. We are Cheese for Thought podcast. If you're a returning listener, you may have noticed last week's episode was a little different than our usual. We switched it up. We released our first episode in our Cheese for Thought Unpasteurized series. It's full of laughter and banter on real-life problems and goofy stories. If you missed it, go check it out so you don't miss out. Tonight on Cheese for Thought, we will be covering the wild case of Frank Spisak and his wild obsession with Adolf Hitler and killing in his name. As always, I'm Drew.
I'm Ariel.
And I'm Maggie. And you're listening to Cheese for Thought.
April 30th, 1945. Location, 2 stories below the streets of Berlin, Germany, in a fortified bunker. Adolf Hitler would take his own life by self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head before stating his last propaganda statement. It is finished. Goodbye. This cowardly but necessary act would end the Second World War on the Eastern Front. The world celebrated as the Nationalist Socialist German Workers' Party, known as the Nazi Party, finally fell. Corruption, violence, racial propaganda, murder, and mass genocide was over, and the Nazi Party could never cause havoc and carnage acts upon the world ever again. Until June 6, 1951.
Okay.
Cleveland, Ohio, 1951, was a thriving industrial city nearing its peak population, around 914,808 residents. The city was experiencing an economical boom fueled by its strong industrial base and was even named an all-American city. The Terminal Tower was a noticeable landmark, undertaking the title the tallest skyscraper outside of New York. The Cleveland Browns had just won the Super Bowl that year, in spite of being their first year as a team in the NFL. Cleveland, Ohio welcomed a baby boy, Frank Spisak, on June 6, 1951.
I'm going to start this off here right away. This is not surprising that something happens in Ohio. All the weird stuff happens in Ohio, so this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, don't like.
There's a whole meme. Everybody's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
only in
that's
Ohio.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't like the what did the new generation say? Something like
Ohio Riz or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
toilet Ohio Riz. You'll learn it. You have a son.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, we're gonna hear all the goofy lingo.
I don't know it, though. I've never heard it.
Ohio means weird. Like, you use the term Ohio just in, like, weird, crazy...
Yeah.
Just when something crazy happens, you say Ohio.
It's so Ohio.
That's so weird.
No, it's so Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So Ohio. I feel like what am I trying to say? Like, when, like, oh, that's crazy, like, you start saying that stuff, I feel like people are just starting to turn statements into one words.
Yep.
I don't like it. It makes no sense.
Nope.
Born into a working-class family with a father that worked in a factory to support his family.
Yeah.
Papa's working in the factory.
Jesus Christ. I lost my spot. Sorry, guys. Born into a working-class family with a father that worked in a factory to support his family.
Uh-huh.
Sadly, years after Frank was born, his father moved out of the city into Middleburg Heights in Frank's youth.
Sounds fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does sound super fancy.
Middleburg Heights.
Like, the rich people. His father's explanation was due to the increase of black population resulting from migration.
Ah.
So
that's real nice.
Raised by emotionally distant parents, Frank was curious about gender issues from childhood, with an extremely strict mother who humiliated him and hit him whenever he displayed sexual behaviors. So, again, another evil mother. Seems like a returning...
This sounds like... What case did you do? The
Jerry
shoe...
Bruto's.
The shoe... Yeah, the shoe fetish. Slayer. I think that's what his name was.
Yeah, the shoe fetish slayer. His
Yeah.
mom would beat him too.
Yeah.
For being more feminine or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Because he liked wearing women's clothes.
Yeah. Oh. There might be a similarity.
And there
In
might be
this
another
case,
one.
yeah,
There might be
yeah.
another one. All right.
She taught him to hate people of color and others whom deemed to be undesirable or repulsive.
So me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I
I
hope.
would take that statement back,
I hope.
please.
Okay.
You hate people of color. I hope that's
No,
not
I
the
thought-
case.
Oh, no. She was saying, like, because you said undesirable or ugly or whatever. And she's
Yeah,
like,
that's
so
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Once Frank entered into high school, life didn't seem to get any easier. He would continue.
Never does.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, it gets a little better in high school. Like, no, I think it got worse in high school.
Yeah.
Especially in Ohio.
He would continue to keep his bad luck with constantly getting bullied and picked on. He was marked as being the creepy, awkward kid in chess club.
Yep.
So
Here's
you.
his- here's
So
his,
you.
I was never in chess club. Come on. This is where his original villain story originates here.
Because he joined chess club.
And he was getting bullied, hit
Yeah.
by his parents. Yep, he's got the...
Do we even have a chess club?
Oh, I'm sure there was.
I think there was a chess club in my high school.
I don't remember one.
I don't even know how to play chess. So, I'm a fan.
Someone
I-
tried teaching me,
I have
and I
like
gave up.
the basic of the basics. I know how to play chess, but I don't know like the fancy moves and like I know which directions like all the pieces can go, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, I don't even know that.
He also was known to draw swastikas on everything.
That's problematic.
Yeah, man, drawing swastikas and everything didn't help the no one liked me problem.
Yeah.
Would imagine not.
They actually stole that symbol, though.
Yeah, that's comes
not really
from
it's-
the ancient Egypt.
Originally, it was a sign for, like, hope and peace and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
it's
the
totally-
Nazis
yeah.
stole the
Not
symbol.
anymore.
They tilted it and stole the symbol and changed
Yeah.
the meaning.
There's a lot of stuff that the Nazis stole that comes from ancient history. A lot of the stuff they did. After graduating high school, Frank attended Cleveland State University in hope of becoming a new person and starting fresh in college. And
Yep.
decided
Not
to
a chance.
to study history, that's kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool to study. But
Says you. I hate history.
Nerd.
I hate history so much.
Well,
I
we wouldn't
love
be here
history.
yeah, we wouldn't be here without it, so.
yeah,
That's true, but I don't like it.
you got to know your past to know where you're going in the future.
Oh, well,
So
there you
you
go.
don't get
Maybe
repeat
that's my
yourself.
problem. I don't know where I'm
You have to learn
going.
from the past so it doesn't repeat itself.
That's
But history
But it
always does
does.
repeat
it
itself.
does. Yeah.
yeah.
But dropped out after only 40 credit hours because he wanted money to buy a car and spend money on other things. So I guess,
I can't fault the guy there.
yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Life is expensive.
Frank would continue the family tradition by working factory jobs like his father. In 1972, he was working as a factory on Cleveland's east side where he met a woman named Lorene Lampert. He would regularly bring her flowers and Elvis Presley records and hoped to woo her. I gotta give it. He's got a good taste of music.
I knew you were going to say that.
I knew he was too.
The whole swastika thing, I don't know about that, but at least he liked Elvis.
Yeah.
You don't like Elvis either?
No, I don't mind Elvis.
Oh, okay.
I was going off of this swastika comment. Yeah, I don't know how she feels about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think she knows yet. Let's put it that way. He would marry her at the age of 22 and have a daughter together. During the time between 1977 and 1978, Frank was involved in a car accident that, quote from his wife, messed his brain up.
No, because he was completely normal before. Okay.
Frank started wearing dresses and would take neighborhood strolls. Was constantly listening to albums of Hitler's speeches. He changed his name to Frankie Ann and even engaged in having sex with men. After coming home one night...
Wait. Is that a playoff of Anne Frank?
That's what I thought. I thought
Okay.
I thought it was playing off of Anne Frank.
Okay, that's really sick, actually.
Yeah,
but
that's
okay.
it's pretty fucked up, but
Yeah,
you
wow.
know, he loves Hitler, so that would make sense.
That would make total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really fucked up. I have the same personality type as Anne Frank. I don't know how they know that, but she was in that
I
personality
remember we took that
with the same
test
personality
together.
as
test.
Anne
Anne
Frank?
Frank, yeah. So she was one funny bee. I'll give her that.
Dude, I had a friend in high school that would get Anne Frank and Helen Keller mixed up all the time. So
All right.
I agree. I don't know.
so it's like, yeah, dude, that's totally different people. After coming home one night, Levine would walk in on Frank having sex with a man.
Oh, good.
Can you ever imagine that?
I feel like this is the end of their marriage.
I can't help it. It was a car accident. It made me gay.
Oh my god.
I just can you imagine that?
No.
It's bad enough that your partner's cheating, but it's like you walk in and it's like
The opposite sex
yes.
too.
I just wow.
Ooh.
I don't know how I would react.
It's like I would be like, am I that bad in bed that you're with like you
I
changed
changed
gender?
you, yeah.
I would have left him after he went by Annie Frank. I'm sorry. I would have been
Same.
or Frank Annie, whatever
Same.
his name was. I'd be like, no, I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
outie
he just-
5,000. Fuck this.
He just comes home one night and it was like, I am Frankie Ann now, or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck
no.
his name was.
No.
Yeah, Frankie Ann
That's
is
just
what you
sick.
said.
I just literally, it had to have been the Anne Frank.
Yeah,
it had to have been a reference. There's
I'm
no way.
like 98% sure that's why he did
No
that.
way. Yeah.
She walked out on him and left.
Okay, girl.
They briefly reconciled 2 years later, but Frank confessed that he has always wanted to be a woman and stated that hormone treatment would be a great thing for him to start.
Why would she go back with him?
I don't and
I'm assuming they had kids, so I'm thinking maybe she wanted to work it out with him, or maybe she was still in love with him. Like you can't help it.
I guess,
unfortunately.
yeah. When you have kids in the situation, it's completely
And
different.
if you truly are in love with that person, even though
That's
they cheated
true.
on you and screwed you over, she might have still never, let go of her feelings for him.
that's true. You don't have to stop loving someone.
I know, but he cheated on her.
I know.
It'd be different if he didn't cheat on her, I think. Because, like, if you came to me and said, I want to be a woman, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I still love you, like, I fell in love with you, so I guess that's all right, but...
No, don't worry.
And when you cheat on me, I'm not going to... No, completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, because all trust is broken now.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if I'm going to come home and you're going to be with a woman. Ariel.
You going to switch back? Or we're talking about me now?
Yeah, we're talking about you.
Oh.
If you were a dude?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not becoming a dude.
No, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, so they briefly
Reconciled.
2 years later, but Frank confessed that he had always wanted to be a woman and stated that hormone treatment would be a great thing for him to start and was anticipating a sex change operation. I don't know how I would respond to that.
I don't either, but it
Well, I
sounds
said
like,
what I would
It sounds
do.
like he showed signs of it from childhood.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
It's just he was told it was wrong,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so...
She responded, I married a man, not a woman. Well, Frank responded, well, I'm a woman now. She left again. Frankie Ann's response and continuing actions would lead her to divorce him and take most of the two belongings.
No good.
Yeah, that year, after Levine left, Frank took a job as a machinist at Edward Daniel Company, paying him $220 every work week. He would discuss the finer points of Nazism every chance he's got with his coworkers during work or on break in the break room. He would even go to the extreme of discussing gay porn as well.
Isn't that like
Like too extreme, things to talk about at work.
Hey, do you like Nazis and gay porn?
Can you talk about that at work?
No.
No. I mean,
I was gonna say.
Okay, so I can. You could probably talk about Nazi stuff. You're just gonna get really look different upon. But talking about gay porn at work, yeah, you can't talk about that.
Yeah.
I feel like both are highly inappropriate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
100%.
Yes, that's where I'm at too.
I could see if you're talking about the crazy stuff Nazis did and the history of World War II, but to sit
But the fact
and
he had an obsession.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
to sit
he
and-
He's talking
worshipped
about it was a
them.
hobby or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, what'd you do? Yeah, I went fishing with the kids. What about you? Oh yeah, I just read up on Adolf. Like, what? It doesn't make sense. So I wonder if people at work knew his name was Frankie Ann too, and if they thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I wonder if he went by Frankie Ann or he was went by Frank.
Yeah, right.
At his
which is
work.
weird.
Yeah, I'm sure his coworkers loved him. Dressing in full drag became a normal routine during the weekends.
Just the weekends.
Just the weekends. taking home men to engage in sex and picking up black female sex workers. Oddly,
So he's going to females again.
yeah, that's what I didn't understand. If he was so obsessed with the Nazis, why was he picking up black prostitutes?
And you said his parents were racist, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's kind of like a rebellion thing.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
He thought
That
it was
makes
wrong,
sense.
And then he's like, oh, no.
I'll show them.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, when he didn't have money to pay the sex workers, he bribed them with payments of guns and ammunition.
That worked?
I did it. I doubt it did. Like, I don't have the money.
I said the deed's already done. Like, they
Yeah.
came like, oh, well, I'm going to Uno reverse card and steal that back from you. I'm like,
That's true.
oh, God.
I mean, I guess I'll
What's with
take
all
what I
these
can at
people,
this
like, all these
point.
weirdos that we talk about all have these prostitutes and they can't even, like, pay them. It's like, God, broke-ass
You're
bums.
already a piece of shit. Now you're
Yeah.
even bigger piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't have the money, but I can pay you with a gun.
I think they should make them pay up front.
You would think, okay, so
yeah, you would think.
if I was a prostitute, okay, and I did the deed with someone, and they decided to pay me like in gun and ammunition, I would just rob their ass.
All right.
To be honest with you.
Uno reverse.
Oh, you don't got money?
Doesn't like the pimp come after him or some shit too?
That would make sense.
You can beat the shit
If
out of
anybody
them
knows
if they
how
don't
this
pay.
works, let us know.
If anyone has a pimp business, hit us up at Cheese for Thought Podcast.
We're available all hours of the
Isn't
night.
it contact us?
Yeah,
at-
contact us as Cheese for
Our
Thought
pimp
Yeah,
know
Podcast.
that.
Cheese for Thought
Yeah.
podcast.
Hit
Yeah,
us
the
up.
pimp knows.
The pimp will know.
Pimp knows everything.
So the sex change operation would never happen. Instead, he decided to rehabilitate his mind by rebuilding the Third Reich and decided to join the National Socialist White People's Party. So the Third Reich was like Hitler's party.
Okay.
Like that's what they called themselves. The Third Reich was the superiors. And,
So he's joining like a white supremacist.
yeah,
group,
he's
basically.
driving.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of the sex chains, he's going to rehabilitate it.
Yeah, what an extreme-
Do you have to
Yeah.
pay for that,
I can't-
though?
I don't know. I've never called them and
You
asked.
know what? I'm not going to do the sex change. Let me just join a white supremacist group. Okay.
That makes no sense. How do you go from one... I don't get
I don't
that.
know. This dude. That's what I mean. This dude was all
Nothing
over
about
the
this
fucking
guy's making
place.
sense.
Yeah.
Like he just was like one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
I mean, the racism was always there, but
Yeah.
But not really, because he's having sex with different races.
I suppose.
I am so confused.
Yeah. He became obsessed with Hitler even more than before, hanging pictures of Hitler all over his house, collecting swords and World War II Nazi memorabilia, and stockpiled weapons and ammunition. He went as far as calling himself a stormtrooper.
Okay, that's just a disgrace.
Not that kind of stormtrooper, I don't think.
Yeah, no, it's a different. I'll explain. Hang on. During the time of all the Nazis' addiction, he started dating a black female sex worker at the same time. So he just joined like the neo-Nazis, and
So
then he
he
decided to
he
get
liked black women.
apparently.
But he's a white supremacist.
Yeah.
I don't understand this guy.
I don't think there's anything to understand.
No.
That's out the door.
So the term stormtrooper, during World War II, it was an elite soldier within the German army who was commanded to conduct intense combat tasks, like the normal soldier couldn't do. They were like the special forces of ours. The origins of stormtrooper comes from the First World War, where selected soldiers were chosen to storm the enemy trenches with relentless and nonstop force, thus the name Stormtrooper.
That makes a lot of sense. I did not know that, so I'm assuming Star Wars took it from that.
Yeah,
Original
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Frank decided it was time to start stalking people.
Oh, okay. yeah, okay.
As one does.
I just decided to start talking to people. All right.
Well, let me look at my to-do list. All right, joined the Nazi party.
Check.
Check. Got a black girlfriend. Check. Stalking people.
Checkaroni.
All right, I got to pick up milk too. Okay.
Shit, where's that going?
He called these stalking people hunting parties.
Oh, no. This goes back to, that reminds me of your guy that you...
Robert Hansen.
Yes, yeah.
I don't like this.
No.
Not a fan. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
His explanation of why he wanted to do these quote-unquote hunting parties was to cleanse the world and to rob and murder anyone who wasn't white and pure.
But yet he dates other people
Yeah.
that aren't white. Okay, let's make it make sense, buddy.
He's acting like he's God. Like
Most of them do.
you said
Most
this
of
in
them
a
people
different
act like-
case. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
most
who
of
you
these
said
people
that,
do that.
but
Like
yeah,
God complex for sure.
like who the fuck are you, my guy?
He wishes he was Adolf, apparently.
Yeah, no kidding.
Frank would stalk victims he thought were lonely. He hunted where he felt the most comfortable as well, in the Cleveland State University Library.
I'm sorry to whoever visited that library.
He would wander the campus, stalk people, and study Nazi history.
Mm-hmm.
That was his,
That's his itinerary of the night.
yeah.
What a glorious life this guy lived.
I don't even have time to go to the library. God, I wish.
Like, dude, how'd you have all this time? Like, I can...
Did you like not work like full time at
Apparently
all?
he did, because
Like,
remember, he used to sit in the break room all the
Yeah,
time.
right, and talk it up with his buddies.
Unless they fired his ass. Like, dude, you can't...
I feel like they would have had to have. Once you started talking about this inappropriate stuff, I feel like they would have.
Yeah, but this was the 80s. Did they care about that shit back then?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe they were
probably not.
too stoned.
I feel like it's way more
They're like,
big of a thing
like
now.
we're okay with the gay stuff because, like, we still don't like gays in the 80s, but we can't be talking about Hitler. I
Yeah.
feel like that's what some shit they would say.
I could see it.
His first victim was Reverend Horick Rickardson.
Oh, it was a reverend?
yeah.
That's sad.
Oh, God.
The first of 3 victims during his murder spree named the Lone Wolf terrorist attacks in 1982 on the campus of Cleveland State University, an effort to start a race war.
Okay.
He shot Rickerson on February 1st, 1982, in the bathroom of the campus. Frank had been reading a book on Hitler before going into the bathroom and harassing Rickerson. He shot Rickerson repeatedly with a pistol before leaving the scene. He returned to the scene to see the crowd that had gathered upon what had just happened, encountering his next victim, Timothy Sheenhan, the campus maintenance man.
Oh, God.
Once Timothy Sheenhan had walked away from the crowd gathering around Rickardson, Frank followed Sheenhan, confronted him, and shot him point blank in the side of the head, killing him instantly.
Oh, so these were like minutes apart.
Yeah, it was all the same day.
Okay.
These murders were all the same.
He
were all the
must
same
have
day.
like just woke up in a shit mood and was like, I'm going to fuck shit up today.
I guess so. It's like, I didn't get enough preaching from Hitler. I'm pissed.
Something.
After killing Sheehan, he picked up all the shell casings, stating that brass is worth money and it's sloppy to leave them laying around.
It's not worth that much money.
Yeah.
You're gonna get like 2 cents back on a shell casing?
Yeah, I mean, brass isn't that much. He later said, like, after everything was done with and he was incarcerated, that doing all that had felt pretty good about the killings. He said it made him feel as if he had accomplished something.
Yeah, murdering somebody. That's what she accomplished.
Yeah.
That's not an accomplishment.
So he was caught after this. He shot the custodian?
No, there's more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how he gets caught is fucking hilarious, honestly. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Late after all the shootings, like, obviously he gets away, and in a while later he befriended a man named Ron Reddish sometime after the murders in the campus library, a fellow neo-Nazi and a lover of all things Hitler. He would become his accomplice, and together they would search the streets for black males to target. So now the both of them were doing these hunting parties. In June, they targeted, followed, and shot a black man in a cafe, John Hardaway. Hardaway was shot 5 times, but survived this horrible attack.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Badass motherfucker,
Yeah,
that's
he
for
is.
sure. Some months following the incident, Frank returned to the CSU campus and shot at a woman in a campus chemistry lab, but missed. A crowd formed to catch him, but he escaped. And a reward was offered for any information on him. The next night, he killed again, targeting 17-year-old Brian Woodford, who was waiting at a bus stop outside of the university campus. Frank stated that the reason why he was targeted these individuals were because they were black or had thought they came from Jewish descent. Yeah.
Okay, so his
So
was totally like
Based off of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, I bet none of them were actually Jewish.
Descent. Yeah, exactly. Like, how the hell was he gonna know?
Yeah, how would you even know that?
Yeah, crazy neo-Nazi reasonings. Frank was finally arrested a week later after he got drunk and shot his gun inside of his home. However,
This guy is such a fucking moron.
This is so random. What?
I know. Dude, when I was doing this case, I was like, dude, this dude's all over the fucking place.
Like, it almost sounds like it's made up because of how stupid this guy is.
Is this be the name, like if you lived in an apartment or whatever? He's
It's
like,
like-
oh, Frank's shooting his gun off again. He must be
That's
drunk.
exactly what I thought.
It's like what is it? A series of unfortunate events or whatever.
Elimination.
Let's watch an episode of that.
The neo-Nazi lover next door must be drunk.
He's shooting his gun off again.
He's shooting his Luger off again. So he was finally arrested because he shot his gun off in his home. However, they did not initially realize he was the murderer they were looking for from this.
Yeah, they probably thought he was just some drunk with a gun.
Yeah.
Well, he was, because he
Yeah,
was a
right.
drunk with a gun.
And he was only charged with unlawful discharge of a weapon and released on bond.
Of course.
Well, this is before they didn't even have suspicion.
Right,
it was him.
they didn't know
Yeah.
it was him.
And that dude looks like Hitler. What is he in here for? He shot his gun
Did he
off.
actually look like Hitler?
Yeah, I saw a picture of him, like when he was on trial and stuff, and he made himself look like Hitler. It was
What a
wild
fucking
as fuck
loser.
thing. Yeah. Frank returned to his normal life of hate crimes.
Normal life. Yeah, there it is.
And,
Okay.
and Nazi obsession. Though one night he got drunk again, called and bragged about the killings to both his girlfriend and ex-wife.
God, I hope they turned him in.
Shortly later, an anonymous tip was sent in over.
Yeah.
That's what I said, because
involvement.
Drew read me this case before, because we always read each other our cases. And I was like, well, that did him in. Just saying it did him in.
Yeah.
I'm glad they reported it.
Yeah. Police would issue a warrant out for Frank's arrest and would track him down to his Nazi lover friend's Ron Radish's residence, to which Frank was placed into custody. So,
Like, you're not shooting your way out of this one, buddy.
yeah. Is he drunk? No? Okay, he probably doesn't have a gun then.
Mm-hmm.
During his 1983 trial, he grew a toothbrush mustache in the style of Adolf Hitler. And
I'm surprised they even let him do that in jail.
That's what I said.
I'm surprised they would even let him even do that.
I know. And
Yeah, that's what I said.
would repeatedly say, I'm going to butcher this. I don't know any German. Siege Heil, which translate to Hail Victory. So
Okay.
they would say, the Nazis would say that when they would do the German salute. But yeah, it means Hail Victory. It's like, dude, you're on trial. You're not fucking hailing at any victory yet.
Yeah,
so.
right.
And would carry Hitler's book Mein Kampf. So, if no one knows what Mein Kampf is, the translation of Mein Kampf is My Struggle. It was a manifesto Hitler wrote while he was in prison in 1925. The book outlines many of Hitler's political beliefs, his political ideology, and future plans for Germany and the world. He wrote this a few years before the war had started. This was his plan and what he wanted for the perfect world in his mind. Honestly, I've heard the book is fucking trash. I've never read it, but they say it makes no sense and it's just a bunch of gibberish, and he's like all over the place. Like he says one point.
So much like this guy.
Yeah, like he says one point and then he says another point, and the point contradicts the first point he just made. Like, it's all over the fucking place. There's 2 volumes of it, too.
Maybe Hitler was reincarnated in him.
Oh, shit.
Well, I feel like most people like that have those extreme beliefs and stuff, they often contradict themselves. Like, that's why extremists
Yeah.
are never good.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, now back to the trial. Enough about Crazy Hitler.
Which one?
Both. Both. Frank's defense attorney tried to portray him as insane
Well, I mean, he is, so, I mean,
by
Not far off.
yeah.
by just putting him on the stand and letting him talk.
Are you
Let
serious?
this guy go wild. Yeah, go hog wild up
Like-
there. They'll know that you're an idiot.
His attorney was just like,
I
this
got nothing,
dude's
get up there.
crazy. I have no chance of defending him. I'm just going to try to get an
I was
insanity
like, get up there,
plea.
sonny boy.
They'll love you. Don't be shy. They'll love everything you say. Just
Taking pictures. Oh, my God.
where Frank would talk about God and Hitler while he was on the stand. A doctor testified that Frank had a personality disorder,
You're kidding.
but was not insane.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that it worked out that way.
Frank was convicted of the murders and was sentenced to death. He got the death penalty. After the verdict, he kept on like standing up and going out of the courtroom and yelling "Hail Hitler," as well as doing the Nazi salutes the entire time he was being escorted out.
Could you imagine?
No.
Just like seeing this in a courtroom.
No. And I'm sure this was televised, too, I imagine.
Probably. Yeah, it was huge in Ohio. Yeah, just be like, I missed fucking work for this.
Yeah. What? I just can't get over
I would be like looking at the person next to me like, are you seeing this shit too?
It's like we're all gonna agree like right now that this dude's guilty, right?
Yeah.
I bet they were in the meeting room for like
And I bet
2
he didn't
minutes.
Even, he didn't
Oh,
even
for
try to,
sure.
Deny it. It seemed like he took pride in this.
Yeah. Frank repeatedly appealed the sentence.
What's the point?
Yeah. Frank's attorney agreed that he was too mentally ill to be executed, which I don't.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, he's like.
If you're too mentally ill, when
I don't know why he tried so hard because like the verdict was already that he wasn't insane. He just had multiple personality disorders. So I don't know why his attorney consistently.
because if they did, he would get to live.
Which
I
means think he gets
get
more
it,
money, right, or
but-
something like that.
I don't know how that works. Maybe better reputation. So like
Yeah.
more clients
Because even though
want
he's
him.
guilty, but it shows that he got
Yeah,
a lesser
yeah.
serious sentence or something.
Right,
So
and
it's still a win for them.
Right, and he wouldn't die then. They can't. I don't think they can kill you if you're mentally unstable or whatever.
No,
right?
they can't. No. But if the doctor had already ruled that out, like they're not going to change their mind on that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I don't know. Whatever. Frank himself later said that.
I feel like they did this in another case too. Menendez brothers, right?
But see if they're mentally sane.
Yeah, because they were originally supposed to be killed, and then they were deemed as
Which I thought California
mentally
didn't even do
unstable.
I thought
So
California
it did
do
work.
that
I see
penalty.
why they did
I don't
it.
think so.
So yeah.
I think a lot of cases they do that as like a last resort when they're victims up for. I don't know if that's what they're called.
I think the Menendez brothers. It wasn't for death
Not
row.
victim. What's the word for it?
For what?
For lawyer and
Defendant?
yeah, when their defendant is up for the death penalty, I think.
Yeah, they all will try to fight to not get it. Yeah.
Right.
I think the Menendez brothers. It wasn't for the death penalty. It was for them to even just be in prison.
Without parole or whatever.
Yeah, because the first trial.
Is that what it was? It wasn't the
Yeah.
death penalty though?
Because they
Okay.
finished the first trial and like something happened, so it was like a mistrial, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they went to the trial again, and then it didn't go in their favor, obviously, but
I knew it was something like they always do like last ditch efforts.
yeah, it was for parole. Yeah. Frank himself said that the shootings were caused by his hatred and his mental illness, which he blamed on a sexual identity struggle. His appeals went to the United States Supreme Court in the decision Smith versus Frank, where his appeal was ruled against in 2010. So he brought it all the way to the Supreme Court, which is kind of
And somewhat recently too. Wow.
crazy
Yeah.
that it went that far.
That is pretty crazy.
On February 17th, 2011, Frank was executed by lethal injection at the Southern Ohio Correctional
We
Facility.
were alive during this. This is insane to think about.
Yeah, I'd never heard about this either.
Me neither, but we were alive when he got executed in 2011. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Wasn't that long ago.
No.
No.
Near Lucasville, Ohio. Why does like Ohio have all these like
That's what I'm saying.
like super rich sounding names, but then you go there and it's like
Not.
this is Ohio,
No,
bro.
this is mid.
At the age of 59, he was the longest surviving death row inmate in the state of Ohio at over 27 years. So he was on death row for 27 years.
Oh, so he was pretty young when he got caught then.
Yeah, he
Wow.
had to only
He was, what, early 30s or whatever?
20s, right?
Math's
Early
not our
30s,
strongest
yeah.
suit.
Not
Yeah,
not on the fly like this, no.
no.
Frank's last meal consisted of spaghetti with tomato sauce, a salad, chocolate cake, and coffee.
He's a simple guy.
I'm gonna say that's a fucking weak ass last meal.
Oh,
That
hell yeah,
is.
it is.
That's why I
I
said
would
he's
go
simple.
fucking all out.
I love listening to people's last meals. I
Yeah,
think it's so
same
fascinating.
here. There's a dude.
We
on-
should do an episode on people's last meals. I'm kind of curious now.
Some of them are
Yo,
crazy. Someone
yes.
ate a Bible.
What?
Serious dead ass. I'll get into that later.
Did you hear about the person that ate a fucking handful of soil
What?
so that
That's
he
wild.
could come
Okay.
back as a tree, or it was an olive pit. It was either the olive pit you wanted to come back as a tree, or I think the other one was.
Sir, I'm not. I don't think that's how that works.
He ate a handful of soil for some reason. I don't know.
Hopefully
That's wild.
last. Hopefully
That
he
is
ate that
wild.
last because if you eat that first, you're like, I'm not even hungry for my meal now.
Dude, could you fucking imagine the guy? So the guy that's sitting in the kitchen is getting the last meal
Is that
ticket.
you?
No,
Oh,
The-
it's okay.
Getting the last meal ticket. He's like, "All right, last meal of the day," and he goes,
Cashing in for soil.
"Soil."
Can you imagine chewing that? Like it's all over your gums and shit. Okay.
I would just
Sounds
swallow
gross.
it right away. I would just swallow it whole.
Die.
It's a clump
I'd
of
just rather starve,
soil.
no thanks.
Yeah, weak meal. I
Chocolate
would
cake.
definitely go out. I'd get like from 4 different restaurants. Steak.
Didn't we touch on this on the other podcast? What our last meal would be, or is that just me asking you random ass questions one day?
I think that was just you asking
Oh,
random ass
okay.
questions.
We can do it though. We can add
We
it to our
should.
other one. Yeah.
Yo, shout out if you want us to cover that. Let us
Yeah,
know.
let us know if you want to know our last meals. We're
And
going to
just
talk about it anyway, so
and we'll
whatever.
just and just do serial killers last.
I
meals,
actually
too.
That's a
think
great
we
idea.
did talk about it because remember we recorded it a couple times, but then
yeah.
Mason had the hair tourniquet. I think we did talk about it, but we didn't
you're
in the
right,
second
yeah.
time we recorded it.
Maybe we'll do it on unpasteurized.
Yeah, let us know if you want to hear it.
So
Yeah.
his last words before death was in German.
Of course it was.
Verses 1 through 7 of chapter 21 in the Bible's books of Revelations. I do have the passage if you want me to read it. Or
Yeah, in German.
Go ahead.
Okay. Lein Sie ein, flohen ein, die ein. No,
Is
okay.
that Chinese?
No, I don't.
Do you have it in English?
Yeah, I have it in English.
Okay.
I
Do
get
you
it
want us to take it
translated.
over? My God. I actually got kind of scared there for a second.
Okay.
I don't know how to feel right now. I'm a little bit shaken up now. That kind of startled me. You should have given us like a flash warning or something. My God. You sounded so angry.
All right, this is Revelations 21, 1 through 7. John describes a version of a new heaven and a new earth where God dwells with humanity. He sees the Holy Ghost, the New Jerusalem, descendants from heaven, prepared as a bride for her husband. God promises to dwell with his people, wipe away all the tears, and end death, sorrow, pain, and the former things. He declares, "Behold, I make all things new," and offers the water of life freely to choose who thirst. The passage concludes with a promise that those who overcome will inherit these blessings and become God's children. I don't know what the fuck he meant by that.
Me neither.
Jesus was no Nazi.
I was
I
thinking
actually
the
hoping
same
you could
thing.
Just recite that whole thing, but like scream it. So it sounds angry, so we're getting the full German effect.
Oh, okay. John describes the version as the new heaven and the new earth.
Very nice.
Did you learn anything from asking him to do that? Probably to
no.
never do it again.
Yeah.
I hate the Jews.
I'm surprised he didn't say that in there.
Yeah, me too.
After the execution of Frank, the family of Timothy Sheenhan said one of his Wait. Wow, I just had a stroke. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It happens
Are
to
you
all of
alright?
us.
He's like still get it. He scared himself with the German.
So,
I think so.
after Frank's execution, the family of Timothy Sheehan stated, "Today we choose to celebrate the life of a husband and a father. Timothy Sheehan, not the death of Frank Spisak, Nazi
Spisak.
We are grateful that the justice system has worked and appreciate those in the criminal justice system who diligence effort have helped bring this matter to a final resolution." So, I guess good,
Yeah.
words to a horrible fucking situation.
Right.
9? That
They're
means yes,
choosing-
right?
they're choosing- 9 means no.
No? Oh, shit. How do you say yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it for this crazy one. Any comments? Questions?
A ton. But I don't think any of us have the answers for it. Like, why?
It just
Why?
makes me wonder, like, how, like...
Why shoot them? Why not do something bigger if you're this much of a Hitler fan? I'm happy he didn't.
I
don't
think
get me
he had
wrong.
the mental capacity to fucking think of anything bigger.
It just
Like,
makes
what
me
was
wonder
the point?
How his struggle of gender identity spiraled into this is what I don't understand.
I don't know.
I fail to see, like, this is what's so fascinating about the brain. Like, it's horrible that this shit happens, but it's like, it's so fascinating to see, like, why people's brains tick the way they do.
Yep.
How do you
I'm
go
right
from
there with
that,
you. Mm-hmm.
with his mother hitting him for being more feminine, to all of a sudden being a neo-Nazi extremist? Like,
Like,
how
are
do
you
How do
born?
you get to that point? Like, how?
I wonder if the father had anything to do with it, because apparently both parents
And if you're
didn't like
gonna-
anyone outside the white race.
And if you're gonna do sick shit like this, like, are you born with like that in your brain? Like, is your brain
Some
wired
people say
that way from
some people say that
birth?
there is a serial killer gene.
I feel like
I
there
don't know.
is.
I feel like there kind of has to be, because you could have the best parents in the world and still be a
Yeah,
sack of shit.
exactly.
Or, it's just like, it just doesn't really make sense to me.
I really hope Mason doesn't have the serial killer gene.
No.
I hope,
Well, look at
I hope
Dahmer.
none of our
His
kids
dad
do.
was there till the end with him.
Yeah.
With everything he did. I know his mother was kind of absent, but I know of people that didn't grow up with both parents in the household, and they're not serial killers.
Yeah, they're great humans.
Yeah.
Well,
Like Ariel. Ariel's a great human.
most of the time.
So, yeah, I just don't know how that can just switch and flip a switch like that.
I have a question for you. So how did like this whole thing make you feel, like, researching this?
I thought it was absurd.
How did you even come across this?
Maggie has a book on, like, short stories on, like,
Okay.
and I was just flipping through that trying to find a case, and I was like, okay, so I
actually found it for you.
yeah.
Looking through the book, I was like, I think you would be interested in this
So
one.
I love World War II, anything World War II. I don't obsess over the Germans. I think they're very interesting.
See, it's different to be into a time period's history. That's
Yeah.
completely different than
Yes.
idolizing someone's
Yeah.
mass murder,
What Hitler
genocide.
what
thing.
Hitler did was fucking horrible. I
And
never
there's people
fucking understand.
There's people that deny that this happened,
Oh.
the Holocaust and everything.
If you
no,
deny
it
the
happened.
Holocaust, you should jump into a volcano.
Yeah, it
I just can't believe
definitely
there's
happened.
people that actively deny that never happened.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think the Germans were fucking crazy. They did some amazing things, but they did some fucking horrible things. Like,
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
wouldn't have NASA if the Nazis was never a thing, because after the war, America took all the scientists that were supportive of the Nazis and the Nazi campaign and said, hey, we'll pardon you of all your war crimes if you help us build this little project we're calling NASA to get us to the moon. Because Germany was the first ones to create the ballistic rocket, and that's what space shuttle is powered by, is a ballistic rocket. So they needed their information to get to the moon before Russia. So that was the whole premise of why we parted them, because we wanted to be the big dogs and be on the moon first. So they're like, oh, war crimes, what's
What?
that?
The USA wants to be the big dogs?
Yeah.
What?
So, and like interstates, if like Germany was the first ones to create the Autobahn, which is a huge interstate system that runs through the entire Europe, and it has no speed limits. You can go as fast as you want. They made that normal. So that's why we have interstates here. I don't know. They've done a lot. So I'm not saying the war crimes they did was great, but
Right.
it's just interesting like what can come out of a war.
Yeah.
That
can
is
come out of a
interesting, yeah.
war.
And even like the culture stuff spreading, like there's a ton. Like I feel like that's a huge makeup of Wisconsin is a lot of German descendants.
Yeah, we're very German descent and Polish too in Wisconsin.
I'm German. Are you German?
I don't have any German in me.
Oh.
My last
Okay.
name is German.
Ringe.
I don't think it's pronounced that way in German though.
Oh.
My last name's Dutch. It technically means farmer. They say.
That's my last name. Hey.
It took me a second. I was like, oh yeah, it is. Duh, you guys are married. Wow, I just had a dumb ass moment.
Wait, really? You're like.
Seriously, I was like, yeah, that's crazy. You do have the same last. Oh, that's right. I was there that day. I signed that paperwork as a witness. I was there that day.
You were there that day.
Life be like that sometimes.
For real.
I'm gonna go fucking jump off a bridge.
No, you're not. We're not going to let you. You think we're going to let you go that easy?
But yeah, I just that's wild. That go to that extreme.
It also is interesting too, like just taking off the swastika thing, like how it's different. How like one symbol can mean one thing, and then they change it into like an active.
Yep.
Like a hate symbol. It's like it's just crazy.
That is. I was thinking that too when you said that it was like a sign of hope.
A reason why they chose it, but I can't for the life of me remember it right
They
now.
probably just liked it. They liked the way it looked.
The Germans, everything they did had a reason behind it. There was a deep meaning behind everything, even just naming tanks and naming stuff they used in the war. There was a huge meaning behind everything.
Yeah, they were very like precise and like kosher with everything. They're just like, oh.
Everything was a symbol. Everything was symbolic.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I actually had to read part of Hitler's book in college.
Mein Kampf?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you
I
think?
don't remember what it was about, like why we had to or what class it was. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. Like basically, he talked about the eugenics and like how he wants to create the perfect person and what his idea of the perfect person was, and that's why he was experimenting on all these people. Like when people had twins, he'd experiment on twins, triplets, to see if one person, when inflicting pain on one twin, can the other one feel it. Like they're trying to like create the perfect race, the perfect army, stuff like that, which is crazy to me because his idea of perfect looked nothing like him.
No, he wanted blonde hair, blue eyes. He
Right.
had black hair and brown eyes.
Right, exactly. And like fair skin, it's like, yeah, he was fairly pale too, but not like super pale like how he wanted.
You know, he wasn't even from Germany.
And I also heard that is it? I don't know if it's true or not. If his mom was from Jewish descent.
No, it was it's not true.
Okay.
He has no Jewish descent.
Okay.
But yeah, he was from Hungary.
Okay.
So after the First World War, Germany got split into it was Germany. Then it got So he was after the First World War. Hungary was part of Germany. It got separated and it turned into Poland and it turned into Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
So before the First World War, he lived in Hungary, but he felt like Germany was a better home and it fitted him, so he went there. But the reason why he left is because he got kicked out of college, an art degree in Hungary, and then decided to, because he hated that he got kicked out, so he went to go to Germany to fight in the war because he felt like he needed a better homeland or some shit like that. That's some fucking wild shit.
I did hear that he idolized his mom.
Oh, I didn't know
I don't know if
that.
that's true.
I've never heard that.
I heard he
I read some
loved
sources
her.
say that he is like a descendant of German though.
Descendant of German or Jewish?
I think German.
Oh, I'm sure he has German background
right.
because Hungary and Germany were like the same thing. It was like almost the exact.
I just remember reading that, like, I don't remember where, but like he like loved his mom to like the very end or something like that.
So
It's
he was a good person there for loving.
It's
his
crazy
mom.
how one person, such as Hitler, can have such an impact on the world.
Oh, I know. That's another thing too. It's like what made him tick? Like what made him the way that he is?
Okay, so the reasoning why he started the whole war, because he wanted to take back all the land that was taken away from Germany after the First World War, because Germany lost.
And he just blamed everyone.
He blamed everyone that was. So the reason he hated the Jews is because the Jews and the Germans were allies in the First World War. The Jews had more power over Germany in saying when to stop the war. The Jewish community or whatever were in control were the ones that like waved the white flag at the end of the war. So that's the reason why they lost. He blames them for losing the First World War,
Okay.
which caused Germany to go into a huge deficit, which went into a
So he had like a deep, long
he had
hatred
a
of
hatred
the
for
whole-
him.
Okay.
Yeah, so he blamed them for why Germany went into a Great Depression, why they lost all their money, why they weren't a striving country anymore. And then power got to his head, and he just wanted to take over everything. So,
Not good.
no. He felt like the German government folded too quickly, and he...
And he feels like their fall and their demise was because of the Jewish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That's what they say.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not obsessed with him, I swear.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're going off on like
You're going to be the next, what is it, Frank Spisak?
Did you hear he almost got killed in the First World War?
Who, Adolf?
Yeah. So if he would have
That
got...
would have been crazy. The butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Imagine that if he would have died, the
Yeah.
Holocaust never would have happened. But my family would have never came here. I don't think.
No, a lot of the world would be completely different.
Yeah.
Honestly, if there was no Second World War. Yeah, he was a mail boy, and he was running mail between trenches, and he had to go into like a little area where there was no cover, and I believe it was an English soldier or maybe one of ours. I don't know, remember exactly. Had him in his crosshairs, and he saw that it was just a young boy carrying mail,
He let him
and he
go.
let him go. So imagine if he would have got shot and killed.
Yeah,
The
that's
Second World
insane.
War never would have happened.
That's insane.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, we were just talking about that in the Cheese for Thought unpasteurized
Yeah.
episode.
I
That's
didn't
crazy.
even think of saying that for the butterfly effect. We were talking about that. But yeah,
Maybe you were saving it for this
I guess
episode.
so.
Yeah, and then so obviously next week we're doing our unpasteurized, and the week after that I also have a case from Germany too, so it kind of ties into yours a little
Kind
bit.
of cool.
Yeah, I think mine takes place a little bit before yours.
What
Not
year?
yours. Good question. Don't.
Okay. Okay.
Don't
Don't
remember?
remember.
No, that's fair.
I'm
Life
still
is
I'm
life
still
is
trying to
crazy.
practice these people's names so I don't screw that up. But yeah, so hopefully everybody checks it out. Let us know what you want us to talk about on Unpasteurized. That'd be cool. We could always use some feedback.
Yeah, send us an email.
Appreciate the comments.
I think
we
we've
have gotten.
mentioned it enough this episode.
Yeah.
Though. I think you
We'll give
can.
a special shout out to Drew's coworker Noah. Thank you so much for your support on YouTube. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
thank you. We appreciate you, Noah.
And I guess with that, does anybody else have any closing thoughts?
No, I am good. I'm golden.
I'm good.
Rock on with your bad selves.
All right, so thank you guys so much again, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Peace.
Huh?